Greetings, and thank you for taking the time to review my optional essay. I'm Frank Mastrobono, and I wanted to take advantage of the open format of this essay to show you aspects of my personality and things I've done that aren't necessarily easily reflected on paper. Even from a young age, I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. Before I could even drive a car, I started and operated my own business as a DJ that grew to be quite successful. However, I think the most important message I hope to convey to you today is the fact that I have pursued and integrated a number of diverse interests into my life with notable success. And honestly, I'd be lying if I told you I don't have a thirst for adventure. Nature, outdoor recreation, and my relationship with the environment have all been things I've held dear throughout my life. So, it wasn't too great of a surprise when I honed my focus on environmental science and later biology as courses of study. Normally, in such technical fields, professionals tend to specialize in one particular niche. Conversely, the degree to which I have been able to explore a diverse array of professions has come much to my surprise. While attending St. Joseph's University in Philadelphia, I pursued my interest in emergency medicine in addition to my regular course load and became certified as an EMT. After my training, I was a member of the Narberth Volunteer Medical Service Corps in Narberth, Pennsylvania. During this time, I was head of a committee at St. Joseph's University to establish an on-campus EMS service and authored the proposal. When I transferred to the University of Rhode Island, I continued volunteering on the island of Jamestown. As an EMT, I not only gained an unprecedented appreciation for my own life, but newfound insight into my relationships with those around me. Most importantly, I discovered my ability to maintain calm and order in even the most critical of situations. It's something I've brought to many aspects of my life and believe it has injected a healthy sense of perspective into my daily routine. After graduating the University of Rhode Island, I found work as an environmental scientist and consultant on a joint U.S. Forest Service, RIDEM, and Rhode Island Tree Council research project. I personally authored 2 publications of this study. The first was a method to estimate volume and cleanup costs of debris generated and public rights-of-way immediately after a major storm. The second quantified the contribution of the city's urban forest to things like stormwater management costs, energy consumption, carbon sequestration, and more. During this time, my knack for writing and passion for photography opened a door I never thought existed. After only a short time working as a freelance photographer, I was approached by the editor of a local news website to contribute. Photography assignments blossomed into full coverage reporting, and very quickly I became the news website's designated environmental journalist. Many of the stories I wrote were published statewide and later nationally to the Huffington Post. One story I broke that received a lot of attention dealt with a mountain lion sighting by multiple witnesses in a small coastal Rhode Island town. State Department of Environmental Management officials initially discounted the sighting, but the witnesses and evidence seemed to tell a different story.
I said, "Did you just see something crazy?" And they said, "Mountain lion," and I went like, "Yes!" Because I really, it was so, oh, God.
2 months after the first article was published, a second was assigned because the state changed its original position, acknowledging the consistency of the evidence. Just 7 days after this second article, a mountain lion was struck and killed by a car in Connecticut. DNA testing confirmed that individual had walked from South Dakota. Another story I broke dealt with an erosion-related dilemma on the Rhode Island coastline that pitted private property rights against interest of the public trust. It remains such a hot-button issue that Taylor Swift recently received national attention to activities at her Rhode Island shoreline mansion. In the midst of my foray into journalism, I also began working as the urban forester for the state of Rhode Island. In my first full week of work, Tropical Storm Irene hit Rhode Island and my direct supervisor was on leave. The work I performed in the wake of the storm was featured in a number of media outlets statewide. Also in this position, I assisted Rhode Island's mayors and town councils with their urban forestry and infrastructure initiatives. I sat on boards and executive boards of multiple Rhode Island-based nonprofit organizations. While serving as the urban forester, I was appointed secretary and subsequently vice chair of the Northeastern Area Association of State Foresters Urban Committee. I traveled regularly to national meetings and conferences aimed at providing steering and education to legislators and to foster collaboration between state urban forestry programs. I then returned to the University of Rhode Island to complete a second degree in biology, and graduated just this past spring of 2013. Turning briefly to my personal life, during my time at school I was honored with the request of 2 lifelong friends to officiate their wedding, something I never anticipated I would ever do. Since graduating in the spring, I've been employed in multiple ventures through an LLC I started in March. Interests in public relations, local agriculture, and photography are just a few I am pursuing under this umbrella, among others. In looking to the future, I know an MBA from MIT's Sloan School of Management will afford me the ability to pursue the diverse array of interests and passions I have. I thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and hope to be granted the opportunity to meet you in person for an interview.